Welcome to Whole Apron. In this video we are going to brine and roast a whole chicken. Brining chicken before it is cooked is certainly not mandatory, but it is an easy and efficient way to add moisture and flavor to fish, poultry, and meat. To brine a whole chicken you need a fairly large container and room enough in your refrigerator to place that container. This is a 12-quart stock pot that I am using. Start by adding 5 quarts of very cool water. Then add 10 teaspoons of salt and whisk it around until it dissolves. 2 teaspoons of salt to every quart of water is a good basic ratio to use in brining. Now let's add 1 whole fresh chicken. Also, let's move it around a little bit and tilt it up to make sure there's not an air pocket left inside. We need to cover it before we refrigerate it. Now let's put it in the refrigerator for overnight or at least 8 hours. At this point we're ready to cook the chicken, but first we need to preheat our oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Then let's take it out and make sure we've shaken out any extra water that might have been left inside. Then place the chicken on a clean, dry surface and pat it good and dry with a kitchen towel. This will make it easier to work with. Next, notice I've tied the legs together with butcher's twine. This makes the chicken look a little better, but if you don't have butcher's twine on hand, don't let that worry you. It'll cook just fine without tying the legs together. Now the last thing we're going to do before we put it in the oven is brush on a good coating of olive oil. Then we're going to put it in our oven that has been preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. We will let it cook for 30 minutes at that temperature. Then we will lower the oven temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. We will then let it cook for an additional 30 to 40 minutes or until the internal temperature is at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember that the safest way to check the temperature is with a thermometer. And a good resource for food safety and safe internal cooking temperatures is foodsafety.gov. At this point our chicken would be delicious served whole just like this, but we are making this one for pulled chicken. So we will let it cool to room temperature, and if you tie the legs together, remove the butcher's twine. Next we will place it on a clean working surface. Now we will remove all the chicken meat from the bones and carcass. The legs and wings will detach easily, and we won't have any problems getting the breast to detach from the carcass. Keep or discard as much of the skin as you would like. Now there is a lot of flavor in the skin, and for that reason I personally keep some of it, but most of it I discard. Pulling the meat off of a cooked chicken should only take about 15 minutes. Now if you ever find yourself not having time to brine and roast a whole chicken, simply buy a rotisserie chicken at the supermarket, let it cool down, and pull the meat off the exact same way. At this point the meat is ready to use, but as you can see I am dividing it up into quart freezer bags. Each quart bag will easily hold a 3-cup portion. After you have filled them, lay them flat and press out any excess air that is in them. Then make sure the seals are closed tight. Now be sure to put them in the freezer immediately. Remember, all the ingredients and amounts will be on the blog at wholeapron.com. And remember, if I made this, so can you.